Hey y'all, I'm back with another video, and this video is a little more serious than most videos that I do. So I did share the status where I said that Black Americans need to focus on Black Americans, and I definitely believe that in my soul, and Americans need to focus on America. But I wanted to dive deeper in that. Like, I really want to talk about it. I feel like this is a topic that needs to be talked about from a national point of view to down to like the city of Chicago and the way Mayor Brandon is with the viewpoint to immigration and how that actually affects the citizens of Chicago. So I just feel like this is a very necessary conversation, and we're going to have it. First things first, I am not Republican and I am not Democrat. Just like I'm not a feminist, just like I am not a person that puts labels on myself. I really think it's weird how humans desire to put labels on themselves and desire to be in groupings, because the problem is no matter what the party is and no matter how good the party is and no matter what the party stands for, I am an independent thinker and I want to be around other independent thinkers. Think for your fucking self. You ain't got to agree with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like people who think for themselves. I don't agree with a lot of things that people say, you know, and a lot of things people do, but at least I can respect you for you. I know you are authentically you, and I know I know if something go down, you gonna question it because you can think for yourself. With that being said, I'm not Republican and I'm definitely not Democrat. I don't care that I'm Black. I don't care that I'm bisexual. I don't care about none of them things. I care about that. Well, we'll get into that, because the major thing why I even care about the immigration policies is because I'm a mother and I'm a parent, and we have children on this planet, and then we have people that we love in this country. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care otherwise. If it did not directly affect me, if what happens in the country didn't affect me and my children, I would not care. And that's the honest to God truth, because at the end of the day, with everything going on, we can't control everything. But let me jump into it. I just definitely want to clarify that I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I don't put labels on myself. I'm an individual thinker. Like, I'm an independent thinker. I agree with what I agree with. I disagree with what I disagree with, right? Let's start with the first question or statement, I guess I will say, is America has to be first. That's like your parents have to put you first. Your parents might want to feed all the kids in the neighborhood, and I understand, because that's what good people do, but you got to feed your own household first. And that goes for America. And then again, I'm in Chicago, so I'm going to bring up a lot of things that Mayor Brandon's doing. Okay, Mayor Brandon has decided to tax the fuck out of the homeowners in Chicago, and I'm not a homeowner in Chicago anymore, okay, but because that's a story for a different day, y'all. Getting a house whooped my ass. That shit was something people told me to do, and you just gotta listen. You gotta be prepared. But anyway, that's a video for a different day. But Mayor Brandon has decided to super tax our people, the residents of Chicago, all the while housing illegal immigrants, right? And what I mean by that is that's literally taking the people that work in the city of Chicago tax-paying dollars, that's taking that money, and instead of opening schools for our children, y'all, or state in programs for children with autism, or parents that single parents having a hard time, I can just delegate this money to so many other things than housing people that they brought over here, okay, that we should not be taking care of. I am very much a person that if it does not affect my pot, then I don't care who's eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do have empathy in that way. With that being said, I'm also not God. I didn't have nobody born wherever they were born. This is our country. We have to take care of our country. I love y'all know, I know history, right? So I understand this is stolen land. This country is built off of the genocide of one race, okay, the indigenous people, that was a genocide, the enslaved of another race, the Africans they brought over here, and also the desperation of the European race, because Europe doesn't have anything. And majority of the time, even now to this day, if Europe does not access Africa and the Middle East and Asia, if Europe stops having access to other countries, that continent in itself cannot sustain itself. I don't know why Europe is like that. But even throughout history, disease, For example, it came from Europe. It came from Europeans. That is not racist. That is factual. It came from Europeans. The indigenous people of Americas and the Africas did not have, and I want to say Asia, because when I did the research on it, Asia just didn't come up. So I still want to say it applies to that. However, I know Asia and Europe share a landmass, so maybe Asia had it too. However, disease itself, measles, mumps, smallpox, all of that originated in Europe. The natives, the indigenous people, the Africans had lived for thousands of years. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years before Europeans, which are only 6,000 years old, came into existence and brought disease to Earth. That is factual. Okay, that's not racist. With that being said, I understand that that's what current America is. So I definitely get the argument of like the way America wants to control America, but it's stolen land. At the end of the day, plenty of lands got conquered. This is now. This is now. And we have to think about our children now. So that to me is like it's an argument that is factual with historical facts, but it's pointless of talking about now when we talking about schools being shut down and kids not getting free lunch. And parents already work hard as hell. America is not a lazy country. America is a hard-working country. America is a country that believes in the grind. You know, America is a country that believes in working 2-3 jobs and shit. Just crazy shit. Our work ethic is, yeah, it's up there. It's up there. It's not as strict as some countries I've researched like Japan, but it's definitely up there. It's just not set up to win. You know, capitalism is really, I am pro-capitalist, but I guess that's really the only thing I would label myself, but that's only to a certain extent, so no, I'm going to take that off. What I will say is I accept capitalism because, yeah, get paid for what you work. But America's system in itself, and I'm even watching white people, you know, especially when we talking about rural areas, it's not set up for us. Like, we're not winning over here the way we should because we are the greatest country in America. I mean, America. America is the greatest country in America. We are the greatest country in the world. That I do believe. So if you just hopping on, we are talking about immigration. The first statement that I made was America and Americans must be first. And part of Americans and Americans being first is we have to really have these good conversations, white people too. Now, white people, a lot of times, you know, especially in 2026, we're at this point where we all know the history of what's going on and or what happened. So this might be the first time in all of American history that we blacks and whites of America are so educated on the history of America, right? Because things not having the internet and not being in touch with world news and global news, people here and there, they're not connected. You know, black people are not connected. A lot of things, and a lot of times we found things out, you know, through the grapevine, but how that's not going to touch the way the masses is touching now. So one way that honestly I feel like America can heal and has to heal, white people have to stop ignoring what their history of America is and kind of overcompensate, you know, because no, you are not your ancestors. You are not the ones that did the shit. You are not, it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not your fault. You are not the cause. However, you are born into the skin color that has enslaved the other skin color in the same nation. So yes, inherently, even with me being mixed with white, like my family is from Kentucky, you know, and my grandfather is white. So like I have white family. Yes. At the end of the day, like we're from Kentucky. I know y'all had slaves. It is not your fault. It's not your fault that you was born white, but it also wasn't those slaves' fault that they were born black. And in America, you can sue anybody for damn near anything. You know, in America, you could sue anybody for damn near anything if they steal something. If they steal something from you, you can sue them. But, you know, black people can't sue the country that enslaved their people. There's a lot of reform that just needs to happen with us, period. But that's the first thing I feel like white people could do, to honestly be like, okay, at this point, we're American. We acknowledge what the history is, but we are not our ancestors. Fully acknowledging that you're born into that skin color, so you need to overcompensate as we blend America, because we are Americans. There are certain things that I don't care what your skin color is. If you're American, you're American. Baseball is American, barbecuing is American, football Sunday is American. It's just American, you know, like apple pie. These apple pie, sweet potato pie. These things originated here. Rap, jazz, hip hop, juke music, house music, and now I'm talking about Chicago. This shit originated here. This is our culture. This is the culture we share with each other. With that being said, something black people could do to fully move on is, well, I was going to say is get reparations, but that's a video for another day. We're here for immigration. We're here to talk about immigration. Now that I said put American first, that leads me more into immigration, because the country needs to invest in you. Your nation that you're born in needs to invest in you and your children. Why? So the nation could thrive. The nation needs to invest in its citizens and the families of their citizens so it could thrive. This isn't about being Republican or Democrat. I don't really think it matters what the fuck you are. I think we can all generally agree that our nations that we are born in should support the people that's born there. Japan supports the Japanese nationals that's born, citizens that's born there. It's a very nationalistic country, you know. Granted, they do have the same race going on, you know, the same ethnicity thing going on. But with that being said, after being here 400 years, I would like white people have, American whites been here 400 years. American blacks have been here 400 years. There was a mass immigration starting in the 80s, but understand, before the 80s, it's the whites and the blacks. Even if you have a few races here and there, it's the whites and the blacks, it's the Europeans, it's the indigenous, and it's the Africans. That's what the fuck was going on in America. We built America. Everybody else, and that's another thing, immigrants get to benefit off of the fact immigrants, period, get to benefit off of all of the laws that was put in place for the enslaved people. For the enslaved people. And for the children of the enslaved people, us. For the offspring of the enslaved people. They benefit off of our laws. One law is natural born citizenship. If you're born in America, you automatically are a citizen. Doesn't matter if your parents was born here or not. Well, that was put in place, put into the Constitution for the enslaved children. Because now this is the only land they know. They don't have a home. And who knows what their home would have been, because at this point, coming over here, they're mixing up tribes purposely so the enslaved Africans couldn't speak to each other. So they're purposely mixing up tribes so they don't speak the same language. And I fully understand that, because, for example, somebody out south in Chicago speaks very different than somebody out west of Chicago. And they're both from Chicago. And then, like, Chicago speaks very, very different than, like, down south in New Orleans and, like, all them places, you know. So, or anywhere. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, because immediately, like, New York accent came into my mind. Everywhere. So I can fully understand how there's so many dialects that they wouldn't be able to speak to each other. But, again, this is what was going on. Fast forward to today. A lot of immigrants are not open, nice, or catering to the black community. So initially, you know, like I said, this live came about because I wanted to go on more in depth when I shared that status that was about, you know, not focusing on what was going on with ICE, because at the end of the day, I really think we need to get out here to these politics to put a lot of pressure on helping the communities of the citizens in America. One thing that I mentioned earlier was Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, has hiked up all of these property tax on the American citizen property owners of Chicago and taking those taxes to house illegal immigrants, while also not allowing landlords to go through with eviction processes to, evict illegal immigrants who are not paying them. No. And all the while, and this is even more than the illegal immigrants, right? I just know that's his cover up, but he's taking giant pay raises. And then we have somebody, Secretary of State, somebody, y'all gotta Google whatever, because I misquoted, but his name is Chris Brown, and he is getting paid more than the mayor at this point. I don't even know what the fuck he does in office. Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You do not take the taxpayers' dollar. These are things that directly affect us. And when you don't understand how it directly affects you, let me break it down. If you live in a neighborhood where they close your neighborhood school down, or you know a school that got closed down, that's directly affecting you and your family, because now the children have to travel. And this is Chicago. So a lot of times when they close down these schools, you are now making children cross war zones because you reallocating the money to illegal immigrants. No, I don't agree with how illegal immigrants are being removed. I definitely think, you know, especially because they brought a lot of Venezuelans here. So they brought a lot of illegal immigrants here. So I don't think it's right to be abusing people, throwing people down, breaking into apartment buildings in the middle of the night, terrorizing people. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't support that. I'm not saying that. 100% not saying that. What I am saying, though, America cannot house illegal immigrants. What's wrong with y'all? Do y'all know immigration policies of foreign countries? First off, one of the big problems America is having is because since the 80s, they have let illegal immigrants in. And they've allocated a lot of money that should have went to white and black Americans for businesses, business loans, entrepreneurship, mom and pop, welfare. Okay, because the other thing is, what I do not believe that you should be able to obtain citizenship in America. I feel like that visas, sure. Yes. Okay. People from different countries bring forth so much culture and beauty. And I definitely think that is one of the most beautiful things that America became, because no, it's not the backbone. Immigration is not the backbone of America. Immigration is not the backbone of this nation. Immigration jumped and spiked in the 80s. Okay, so that's in the current lifetime. That's not within the 300 years that America was being built, to the point that the Constitution even came about, to the point that Juneteenth even came about with slavery. Okay, there's other races here, far middle and in between. But the actual immigration of people started in the 80s. So no, y'all don't get no credit to that shit. So yes, although I believe that other cultures bring beauty, and I want to share in that, I also am looking at and I'm studying the other countries that are successful in making sure their people are financially secure, making sure their children are educated for the future, making sure that they're an innovative nation. I don't again, I'm an independent thinker. One of the things Trump was saying was going back, America needed to go back to building shit. No, it doesn't. America needs to be a tech giant. America needs to further advance the world. America needs to continue being the first, the further of advancement, the discoveries, the blueprint. Everybody moves here. It's the greatest nation ever. You don't really hear people more trying to even mass immigrate other places. With that being said, there to me needs to be a lot of stipulations. You cannot be here illegally. Absolutely. No. You have to be able to be tracked. If you're in a country illegally and you're committing crimes like and I don't care what your race is, this goes for European illegal immigrants, right? Because who has the top number, okay, of serial killers? Men, colored men. You know, with that, so what I'm saying applies to every immigrant. Those immigrants, how many of them get to be over here doing crazy killer shit? And we don't know because they're not being tracked. So 100% no illegal immigrants from nowhere. Number one. The second thing is people should only be allowed to come over here on visas, a marriage visa, a work visa, a school visa. Yes. Come experience our culture. Come learn our culture. Come share your culture. Come teach us your culture. But you have to go home, or at least even if you stay here permanently, you only have a visa, meaning you can never become a citizen ever. You were not born here. So why are you becoming a citizen and holding office in our office? Why are you becoming a citizen and voting in our elections? You should not be able to vote in our elections. You should not no one born anywhere else should have citizenship to the United States of America. The other thing is, all of the America needs to become the United States of America. All of the Americans. It's so crazy to me that Mexicans are being harassed, being deported, and America and Mexico is the same fucking land. It's the same land. So coming to America should not be illegal, but Mexico should be America. And why should Mexico be America? Because Mexico has cartels. If Mexico was running in a better situation than America, I would say America needs to become Mexico. That's what I would say. That's what my opinion would be. If Mexico was in a better situation than America, I would say, well, America needs to become Mexico. But because of the knowledge that I have, TikTok, YouTube, and talking to Mexicans, because one time I literally, swear to God, true story, was just at a McDonald's. And the Mexican boy was just telling me how he fled Mexico, how his cousins was in the cartel, what it was like. Okay, well then Mexico needs to become America. And all the Americas, all this shit around us that's still third world country needs to become America. Why should y'all become the United States and the United States shouldn't become y'all? Because we are a more thriving country. Canada doesn't want to be honest with that. But let's talk about it. Let's bring up Canada real quick. If I was sitting down with somebody who knew the facts, I'm sure they can argue back and forth with me. That's not the debate. What I am saying is it would be smoother for everybody to be under one nation, right? Period. It would. And America just has better policy. America has the better landmass, and we have the better structure. Right now, Canada, for example, healthcare is free for everybody. And it sounds really great on the surface. Wow. Everyone has access to healthcare. Healthcare is free to everyone. No one's going through this bullshit with insurance. It sounds good on the surface, right? But the problem with free healthcare, y'all, is without capitalism, everybody gets put on the waiting list in the order that they apply. You're not even on this waiting list in the order of necessity, because there's probably somebody at the top who's been waiting for 2 years when you just got on there, even though you needed more. So the backfire of that is how long everybody actually gets seen to get the care that they need, because it's free. Now, the way America healthcare system works, does it need reform? Yes. I feel like there's ways that we could make it free for everybody, but we can't follow Canada way, because at the end of the day, rich people, wealthy people, upper middle class people, people who fill out for Medicaid, people who fill out for welfare early and get in the pool of the good insurance, all those people get seen off top. They can be seen. So they're off the list. So now when poor people, disabled people, people who are unable to get that help, now once they show up in hospitals, clinics, or whatever, they get fast treatment as well, because it's not one list. Everybody's not waiting to be seen. Everybody's not waiting because it's free for everybody. No. Our rich people get up on out of there. They can pay to get up on out of there. And in that creates a workforce for us and a workhorse for us, because yeah, we all want comfort. At the end of the day, like, we all want comfort. I don't care about money for no other reason than it brings comfort and stability. That's the only reason why, other than that, why would we care about money? It's made up. It's a tree. Okay? So your nation, my nation, it needs to invest in us, and it needs to invest in our kids. And a large chunk of the money that we're putting into our nation is going into illegal immigrants, people who are not supposed to be here. I fully don't agree with the process. I feel like the process of removing immigrants needs to change. But y'all, we have to be honest about the blowback that we're receiving as American citizens because we have so many illegal immigrants. Now, I've been talking about the mayor and Chicago's illegal immigrants. I also spoke on that I do not believe Mexicans should even fall in the category of illegal immigrants, because Mexico and America is the same landmass. Mexico needs to become America. So no, Mexicans don't fall into this for me. Every other country, European country, Asian country, African country, every other country, yes, I feel like should be on some form of visa and should not be allowed to ever become citizens. But you can absolutely not be over here illegally. Visas for coming to school here, for working here, getting married here, and living here for the rest of your life is fine. But no, you should not be able to vote in our politics. You should not be able to run for office. This shit should just be common. Also, rest in peace to Renee Nicole Good. And I saw that. And I see so many Democrats being upset about it. But this is why I can't be Republican or Democrat. Because what are you actually upset about? She tried to hit that ICE agent with her car. People are running around talking as if ICE agents are regular people with masks on or regular people in scullies, and they're not. They are federal agents hired by the president. Whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not, they are federal agents hired by the president. And I saw the video. She showed aggression and was going to hit him with that car. Allegedly. Whatever, allegedly. No. American citizens, black and white, should not be outside fighting with ICE agents. American citizens are being detained because they are outside fighting with the damn ICE agents. For what are you fighting for? What does that have to do with you as an American? All the things that this country does to us black Americans, what does that have to do with you as an American? And for every other race of American that's here, okay, that was born here, because your ethnicity, that word whooping my ass, ain't it? Whatever. You could be Japanese, but you born here, you fully American, second, third, fourth generation, fully American. You can be from China. I don't give a damn. Like, Nicaragua, whatever, like wherever the hell you from, Germany, whatever. But once you're here and you're American, Cut all that waving your flag around shit out. Stop. Nobody can move into the ops neighborhood and wave their flag around. I truly believe that once you become American, you should assimilate to our culture. When Americans visit other countries, like we visit Dubai, or we visit just wherever, you know, if they cover up in that country, we cover up in that country. We go to Rome and do as the Romans do. And that should be the same here in America. Ain't no way you should be able to live here permanently and not learn to speak English. That absolutely no. You should. Part of the problem that I saw with the Somalians in Minnesota, it popped up that, the Somalians was doing all this fraud. I'm like, okay, well, America, you know. So, but then I went on my deep dive and I'm watching all these TikToks over and over again of immigrants, and I've grown up in the black community my whole life. Okay, so I am very used to very nice Arabs, very nice, met some, they love the black community, they love being in the community, they show love to us, but I've also met the racist ones, very nasty to us, very much don't even want to fucking work for us, around us, don't even want to serve us. Okay, very much. And throughout history in America, like that, I want to say it was gas station corner attendant. Hold on, kitty. Gas station corner attendant, in New York that killed the black girl. So, you know, immigrants have moved into the black community and ran our stores, used our income, used our economy to build themselves. You even see it with like Vietnamese and the black nail shops, and still be racist and despicable to black people. With that being said, yeah, black people, we don't have nothing to do with them getting rid of illegal aliens. We don't know if they're going to turn around and and put their sights on us. We have to always be on our P's and Q's, because the thing is, even if we got out there and fight for all the illegal aliens, and we got out there and fought for all the immigrants, they still are never going to fight for us. They've never showed up to our fights. They're not in our movements. Okay? When the civil rights movement was going on, yes, some people jumped in, but that's why Bernie Sanders sticks out in a whole sea of the black people as the white boy, because he's the only one there, like you can see it. So yeah, I see all five of y'all in the background, but I also know, like, so black people have to watch out for each other back. It's not like the other coaches in the other communities have ever done that for us, and nor are they responsible. But saying that to say so, I went on a Somali TikTok, and I'm just seeing all this, we're not black. I don't understand how y'all confuse Somali Americans with black, and whatever. And the thing is, like, no. Okay, the 20, 30 people videos that I saw do not speak for the whole Somalian community. However, if you know, like I know, that you see your own community and you don't speak up, you don't speak against it, like, you know, black people are very quick to check other black people in our community to a fault on fucked up shit. We're going to speak out it. We're going to put y'all in our business. We put everybody in our business. So with that being said, if you're not speaking against that shit, you are going to be considered with that shit to me. Still waving the Somali flag. I'm watching all these videos of not wanting to be associated with black people. Well, open our schools. Fund our daycares. Every black American working a job should get $300 in food stamps. You mean to tell me that over the course of 5 years, the Somalians embezzled something like $9 billion? Then this white boy was on YouTube walking around the Minnesota, like, I guess little Somalia is what they call it. They done changed the state flag to reflect the Somalian flag. The Minnesota flag, it looks a lot like the Somalian flag now. And a white boy, he was walking around and he was just knocking on different doors, asking, like, different daycares, asking the daycare providers, can his son come to their daycare? So they did not. Now, normally, you know, what happens is, you know, let's say they don't want to let you in because you're standing there without a child. I fully get it, fully understand. You know, you are a man, and y'all are the ones that. So maybe you should have sent a black woman in, you know, maybe try it with a black man or something, maybe a Mexican man, I don't know. But I fully get they want to let you up in them schools, because with that being said, they didn't give him a card. They didn't say call back. They didn't give him an application. They really want to open the doors. It's weird behavior. It's not American behavior. You should not be able to run businesses in America that way. You should not be able to run businesses in America that way. It's not American policy. Y'all know it's not American policy. And I don't think it should be allowed. I feel like anybody that comes to live in this country needs to conform to this country. I feel like taxpayer dollars need to go to the American people. We have to take care of ourselves. That shit sounds horrible. But it doesn't. Not really. Because at the end of the day, I do not support the way that ICE handles things. I do not support the way that deportation is being handled. Nor do I have the answers on how to handle these things. I do support making sure that this country takes care of its American citizens first. Black, indigenous, Asian Americans, Latin Americans, whatever, you know, European Americans, like whatever. However, I don't feel like there should continue to be a separation. You know, if you are American, you should not be waving a flag from no other country. I don't think you should give up your culture. But Americans don't move to Japan and wave the American flag. Like, Americans don't move to Mexico and wave the American flag. And a lot of times, the countries that we're talking about, and I'm not including Japan in this because I never have seen not one video with a Japanese person saying this. But a lot of the other countries, Somalia, Mexico, these countries are fucked up. They're horrible. And we're letting in a lot of war-ridden people. Even when we're dealing with Venezuela, we're letting in a lot of war-ridden people. And in the case of the Somalians, they came from a country that already for years was going through starvation. And only knew how to, like, they're famous for being pirates. Yes, there are good Somalians. Like, there's good everybody in the world. I would never lump that in together. However, when the masses don't speak against something that a few is doing wrong, everybody's going to be held accountable. And also in different cultures, I know if you like I know for a fact, right? When white people do racist shit and other white people don't want to be involved in it, they are so quick to say, I don't agree with that. I ain't got shit to do with that. That's not me. And that's how you have to be. That's how you have to be. But no, if you're not speaking out against the system, and then Elon Ohan, who is no longer in office, she was an immigrant from Somalia who got citizenship, so she was in our Congress. Absolutely fucking not. I was watching videos of her in a press conference, and in the press conference, she's saying things like acknowledging the Somali president as her president, not our president. No matter, I am not a Republican. I disagree with a lot of shit Trump do. I disagree with how, how he does everything. I disagree with the how. A lot of times the why I completely get. So with Elon Ohar, whatever her name is, I get not wanting to acknowledge Trump, but no, we're American. That's our president. We didn't vote for him. I come from Chicago. That's a blue state. That's still my president. Like, what are you talking about, lady? But she's acknowledging the president of Somalia. This is a country that y'all don't want to live in. It's a country that is not up and running. It's not up and running. And then to come to find out, not only have y'all been stealing billions of dollars from the American people, we might have accepted that, but y'all have been racist to black people? Absolutely not. No immigrants can come over here and be fucking racist to the fucking oppressed people of the nation. Black people have went through so much in America and continue to go through so much in America that you cannot come over here, no matter what your race, religion, or culture is, and then look down upon black people who are the Americans. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It looks like I touched on basically everything that I wanted to say about immigration. Different countries have different laws. America just has been the lenient, and I'll say it was maybe a social experiment for them, but experiment over, y'all. Like, experiment over. All American tax-paying dollars has to go back to the American people. No one can be over here illegally, because if you're over here illegally, you can be committing crimes like robbery, all types of shit, and there's no way to process you, track you, keep up with you, because you're not even a person here. You know, so no, that has to stop. Everybody has to be over here legally. If you was not born here, you should never be able to get citizenship here. In order to obtain a visa, like a long-term living visa, because yeah, I feel like if you want to come over here and live forever and work forever, you know, get married here, you should be able to do that on a visa, but not citizenship. You should not be voting in our politics. You should not be holding office. You should not be running for Congress. No. But you should be able to come over here, work, study, and share your culture, start businesses that help our economy. You know, so many immigrants make so much money off of America and then go back to their country. And they're not wrong. Because if the system is set up like that for you to win, Jamaicans, Vietnamese, Dominicans, you know, if the systems is set up for you to win and go back and take care of the people in your country, I'm not mad at it at all. However, all that money, y'all, that's not going to the American people, and the American people are not even able to do that for their old people. No. But anyway, I had a great talk with y'all today. I'll put this up on my YouTube. I have an ebook that I am going to post. I'm dropping a $7 ebook, so you can definitely come grab that ebook. It's a girl's guide to taking care of yourself when you broke. Okay, because we do soft life even when we broke. So I just put all that good shit into an ebook. If you want to talk to me personally, I do voice notes. I definitely do voice notes. You can I'll post the prices for that in my pinned comments, and you can send me a voice note anytime you want. Other than that, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. We could be back on here tomorrow. Something really juicy. We'll be back on here tonight. Okay, talk to y'all soon.